Tis.
You can do it. I believe in you. Oh yeah,
I
it doesn't like to
believe
do
I
the
can
game capture.
soar. Nope, it doesn't like game capture for whatever
Yeah,
particular reason.
must be just it's an old game. It's probably the reason.
Probably.
So yeah, I'm playing on my light side. I'm gonna be playing my Jedi Sage here.
And I will be playing my Jedi Knight.
I'm gonna be doing little darks.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No
No
spoilers.
spoilers.
I did get to go see it last night, but I don't want to spoil anything. So I will just say that I went and saw it last night.
Nate spoiled
Jacob
it.
did
also-
not get to go see it, so
I guess I can technically also say I will be also seeing it on Sunday again with more family members. So that will be fun.
I'm already planning to see
Looking
it
forward to
again on
doing that.
Christmas. The Christmas of Christmas Eve.
I plan on watching The Matrix with my family on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Nice. I'm going to my in-laws for Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day, I'm going to my parents.
So you can watch The Matrix there.
Probably. Oh, I should probably mention real quick before we really get going that we are all live together, and you can watch our stream by clicking on that bit.ly link. You can watch the multi-stream. That's just a quick shortened link to our multi-stream where you can see all three of our perspectives at the same time while we play the game.
Yup.
So even though we're in different parts of the universe, we're still going to be chatting about whatever tonight.
Yeah, we actually, for as much of this game is built upon playing together, it's mostly the end content, so we haven't played a lot of the game together.
Yeah, we will eventually for sure. Like there is just so much stuff that you can do in this game, pretty much solo.
True.
I mean, we could be
also,
playing
like,
stuff together, but
we could,
right
like,
now we're all
build
on different
characters
levels.
together. Right, we should like build some stream dedicated characters one of these days and just do that story together. That'd be kind of cool if we all like had the same story and we got to like fight for decision making. Kind of cool.
That could be cool. Yeah.
I'm upset that they teach that you can be in the middle. Like I've been doing some missions like you
Raven,
yeah, Raven.
Revan.
Yeah, I was doing
Raven, Revan.
I was doing missions for his group, and they was like that. You can like one of them. I want it to be like that. I want to be in the middle. I want to be not a Jedi or I want to be in a gray area.
I mean, you can play a character like that in this game. It's not recommended, mostly because, like, there's specific items that you get when you get into higher light levels. You have like, or dark levels. Either way, it works the same for both. But like, if your character is like light level 3, like there's certain equipment that you can only equip if you have light level 3, or vice versa, dark level 5 or whatever. Like, so you kind of want to play it one way or the other just to be able to equip those items. Now you can switch sides as well in the middle of your playthrough if you want to, but it's easier. It's best to work towards one or the other to start with, and then if you want to switch later, kind of do that. There's a bunch of other quests and stuff you can do, I think, towards the end of the game or during end game that make it easier to swap sides.
I'm sure that's gonna get better with the.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure there's guides and things like that for sure that have been put out for switching sides. Most people just end up having multiple characters, and they have a light side character and a dark side character instead of trying to switch sides all the time. Especially since there's 2 advanced classes for each class. So lots of people will just do one of those advanced classes as light side and one as dark side. But really, you can do it however you want. If you want both of them to be light side, you can do that, or whatever.
Or you could just make every character dark.
Or light.
Or light. Or you can make them all neutral and just be different.
Yeah. I mean, you really have the freedom to do whatever you want. It's just they put items encouraging you there to go one direction or the other.
My character was running again, like he couldn't move his arms.
You're good to go.
Oh,
Apparently, all I had to do was turn in this mission.
Well, that's good.
It's like, all right, I'm done.
You're done with the whole planet?
No, not the whole planet. I was like, that guy looks familiar. Well, that's because all I'm doing is turning this in.
You're on what, Nar Shaddaa right now?
Yep, I am on Nar Shaddaa yet again.
I'm.
I had just played,
well,
if you watched my previous streams of SWTOR, I had just finished Nar Shaddaa with my operative, so I'm very familiar with the area.
Yeah, it's just on the opposite faction now.
still on Dromod.
Roman Cox.
Roman Kos.
Yeah. Let's go this way.
The rat.
I guess I will show them my wrath.
You're good.
I suppose.
Here we go again.
We're about to fight. How do I play this character again?
Push buttons.
Push every button at the same time.
Pretty close.
I don't think that works, but
Take it from me. I'm a pro at this. This is my first time playing. Okay.
that's because you pushed every button at once.
Your cheat code.
Alright, gotta go talk to this guy again.
Here we go again.
I should go. Okay, I see you don't want me here. Why did I go that way? Is that a route that's good? I'm not sure. I'm not super familiar with this planet. I've only really been on it once before with my Jedi Knight. And I barely remember the playthrough there. Like, I remember the scenery of this planet. And roughly the overall story. Well, that's not the direction I can go. Neither is that.
That's where you want to go. Go left.
No, I'm turning around.
Oh, okay.
It's not a direction I can actually go within here.
I don't know. I'm watching your stream at delay, so saying go left means absolutely nothing. You've already
Okay.
moved past. It's moved past that point.
I mean, if I was walking, you could probably do it and give me directions. But because I'm mounted, I'm too fast. I'm like the Flash.
You guys seen the COVID special South Park? Pretty
No.
good.
I don't watch South Park.
Watch South. Heard episodes are good. Apparently, all the characters good.
Grow up. Nobody wants to grow up.
Is that like Rugrats all grown up now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like that when they grew up. I know everybody didn't like it, but I kind of like it.
I like the idea of it. It was okay. in terms of how it was executed, but
Tommy little brother, he was weird
yeah.
as weird direction.
Yay. I unlocked a new fast travel point on this planet.
He's stepping up there.
There for that quest. Category 10. Yeah. So I need to go further south for this other quest.
No. Oh,
So- What's up? You dying?
yeah, die. Wasn't paying attention.
So Gary, I know we were talking in the Discord chat earlier about Game of the Year and like
Oh yeah.
how
but-
IGN gave Forza Game of the Year.
Yeah.
What essentially to recap people who aren't on our Discord, and I can put the Discord in
Right,
the chat
because you totally
if anybody
should
wants
be
to
on
join.
Discord.
Right. For anybody not in the Discord, essentially Gary, he thinks that Forza 5 isn't a Game of the Year
No.
contender even. But he says it's a fine game. It's just not a Game of the Year type game.
It just have nice graphics. That's all I can see from it. It doesn't blow socks off my feet. Whatever the
Knocks off your feet. So
Learn
what does a game have to have, in your opinion, to be Game of the Year material?
Star Wars. Oh, sorry.
I wasn't asking you, Jacob. I already knew your answer.
It gotta be something that we haven't seen before. Something that just push the envelopes for gaming or something. It can be good graphics, but that's not just all it should be about. Like, I'm not saying it had to be a story game or anything, but just something that's interesting that just has more than just graphics.
I get it, Gary. You want a turn-based combat game based off of a TTRPG. I understand. That's what makes games of the year. I understand.
So what game you think it should be game of the year?
Well, I feel like Forza could be Game of the Year.
Again.
I haven't even played it yet, so I'm not really in position to try and defend it being the Game of the Year. I'm just open to the idea of a racing game getting Game of the Year, if it's properly executed. Like if it does everything, if it's a near perfect like racing game, and I believe they gave it a 10 out of 10 as well. So in their opinion, it's a perfect racing game. Like it can't really get better than it. Like the graphics are great, the gameplay is nice, like the cars control well and everything is. I'm just going based off what they say again. I haven't played it. Like it's the best of the best when it comes to racing games. So if it can't compete for Game of the Year as a racing game, can any racing game ever become Game of the Year? Or does it have to be
could.
like a story-based third-person action game? Like,
I mean, it could, cause
Hey.
look at Midnight Club and games like that came. Those games were incredible. Racing game. And
Those, from my understanding, had more of a quote-unquote story arc than other games.
it did.
yeah, but they were also far more arcadey. Now, Forza's also more arcadey technically, but it's like a nice mix between sim and sim and arcade type game.
Yeah.
But
I think that the racing games in general don't win them very often because they are a niche market. But could they win? Sure. I just don't think there's enough people that are like, this is the only game I would want to play the entire year. So it's game of the
But-
year.
but there are like that. It has its own. It has a massive
Right.
audience.
But it's still a minority inside the gaming group. Inside the gaming community.
Crazy how that's
There's-
true. Like, racing
But
games
there's a
been
lot of
around
people
for
that
so
like
long.
The
racing-
gaming market, the gaming market in general is bigger than it's ever been. So like technically, if you compare the gaming market to the gaming industry even 10 years ago, it's probably bigger than anybody, like the whole population of the gaming industry. So
I'm not saying that there's not a large fan base. It's still just there's not enough people that are dedicated solely to playing those games where they get the votes necessary. Like look at you can't compare people that are strict racing game players to strict MMO players. Just there's MMO has such a bigger market than racing games, as well as third-person stories and
Actually,
first-person shooters.
I'm not sure if that's actually true. The
I
MMO gamers are more dedicated to their game specifically, and they've put far more hours into their game. But I'm not sure if the audience is actually bigger.
I would say there's so many MMOs out there and so many people playing MMOs right now across all the different platforms. Just because they're not playing SWTOR or playing or any of the ones that we're playing, there's still people that are so dedicated to playing WoW and other types of MMOs that community is just so much bigger because there's a reason that Forza 5 is Forza 5 and people know about Forza 5. Name 4 more electric amazing racing games.
Well, I mean, it's not my type of game.
Exactly. That it's not a community that's like, oh, I'm a gamer, so I know all the racing games. Whereas if you're a gamer, you probably heard of SWTOR, probably heard of World of Warcraft, you probably heard of all those other things, those pop culture as games and systems. for
I'd
games.
argue that if you bring up to a racing game fan SWTOR, they might not have heard of it.
Yes, but they are again a strict niche market inside the gaming community.
Right, so is MMOs.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I think you're
MMO
wrong there.
I mean, didn't we just see Final Fantasy they just stopped letting people buy it because how demanding and how many players have been in that game? I've been playing that game. That's a prime example. Everybody knows about MMO games.
I mean, I guess we do have a resource at our fingertips to look up numbers.
Do you require medical attention? Be well.
All right, Forza 5 had 10 million players over launch weekend. So Final Fantasy's shutting down their servers now, right?
Hmm.
So this is like their peak time. So active players today is at 3.38 million players, according to MMO populations mmopopulation.com. This is on a Friday night during peak gaming hours. Now I would have to look, of course, at
Right. Look
peak
at
time.
Forza
Only
and see how many people are currently playing Forza.
Well,
You said,
currently,
I would say
Well-
like 100,000.
I
because,
I don't have access to those stats. I can look at who's playing on Steam, but that's a very small percentage of players because it's on Game Pass. So I would argue a majority is probably playing on the Xbox app and on Xbox, where we don't have statistics to be able to pull up their full number.
okay, but you're comparing again Forza 5. Forza is a known name in the racing community and to gamers in general. I don't like racing games, and I know what Forza is. I know all about Forza.
Xbox. beat
And
that
you're
down.
comparing a launch day statistic to a just
peak
regular
time that they're shutting down servers because they're so full. Yes.
it's again, there's going to be so many people that wanted to try Forza, put Forza 5 in, and they went, okay, cool, that's Forza 5, and never touch it again.
Right. They attract different audiences.
Right, but we're talking about a community that could force a game to become Game of the Year. That's what the argument is, right? Can Forza 5 or a game like Forza 5 be Game of the Year? And my argument is no, they don't have a strong enough community to do that.
I don't think it's the community that should dictate whether a game can be Game of the Year. It should be the game that decides that it being good enough should be Game of the Year.
But it's the community's choice.
Yeah, that's what makes
Not for
Community
IGN's
vote.
Game of the Year. That's IGN's choice. Not for GameStop's Game of the Year. That's GameStop's choice.
Okay, the Game Awards that we watched together, did Forza 5 win Game of the Year?
No, because that's all different game industries. That's IGN, GameStop, all of them. They are the ones that all voted on what Game of the Year was going to be, and nominated games to become Game of the Year for that. That wasn't people. Nobody yes, players could vote, but it's weighed against the players to vote. And players can't nominate a game for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. The total, everybody voting is 3% of the total overall vote for Game of the Year in the Game Awards.
Well, I mean, we can agree to disagree, Nathan, but I just don't think that there's a large enough racing community or need for a racing game to win that would blow anybody away to win Game of the Year. There's just such a different,
that's
vast
how I
thing
feel.
out there.
They made a racing game. I'll be a big fan of that. That's something.
That would be an even more niche market. Even more of a niche game, and that definitely wouldn't win Game of the Year.
Yeah, Transform is a big name.
Yeah, but if you're just making it primarily just a racing game, that's gonna limit the market of its reach. I'm my argument here isn't just for Forza or just for racing games. It's about any of these niche genres, because the Game of the Year, it seems like every year, is pretty much just a third-person action adventure game with a deep dark story, and that has to be the game that wins Game of the Year every year. It's just, there's so many other types of games out there. When do they get their chance to get recognized, I guess? And honestly, it doesn't even really matter. But
They get recognized in their own community. They win their own community awards. That's their recognition.
right.
The
But But
the
if
game
they're-
of the
if it's-
year
if
is
they're
a
if it's a standout game within for that the group of players, I believe it should be able to rise up against other games.
sure. Forza 5 was nominated. It just didn't win.
Well, it wasn't nominated for the Game Awards.
But it was.
No, it wasn't even nominated for Game of the Year for the Game Awards.
It was nominated for a lot of different things.
For
It
other
gave it
subcategories.
in other
right?
subcategories, and
But it-
that's the reach it got, because the racing games typically are one-dimensional. Not
Yeah.
saying that other games aren't one-dimensional, but racing is racing. That's what the game is.
Yeah,
Maybe there's
what more can you do?
collection, maybe collecting cars and different builds and stuff, which again, to somebody that out there, that's an amazing, awesome experience. Which means that yes, it should be out there. Yes. Do I think it's ever going to win? No.
I think it can in a year like this one, where we've had like hardly any games come out.
But even in a year like this one, it didn't win.
But it did from IGN.
Sure, for IGN it did, but I don't count IGN as a personally as a source for all great gaming information.
Me either. It's a source.
That's probably
For some
the other reason
information.
why I just don't like IGN. I don't believe anything they say, and that choice, them picking that just doesn't settle with me. This is IGN.
Well, it's just because that publication doesn't cater to your taste, and that's fine. You just find a publication that caters to your taste.
Which is my point in this whole argument, I guess, is that everyone's gonna go and gravitate towards the median in which supports their favorite game. So in racing games, there's gonna be racing game awards, and they're gonna go, and people that like that are gonna gravitate towards that. People that are hardcore racing game only fans are not looking at the Game of the Year awards and going, "Man, I can't believe my game didn't win." They don't give a rat's because they know they're not going to win because they never win those.
Answer
Mhm.
me. What insolence brings you to this place, slave?
Yeah, I just don't see a problem with it winning any kind of.
I don't see a problem with it. I'm just saying the reality is I don't think it will.
You aren't a mindless
But
puppet
it
like
did.
the rest of them. I don't understand.
To
Just not
IGN.
from the Game Awards.
just to-
right. The Game Awards is just a different publication. Like, it's not like the definitive Game of the Year award. Like, it's just another Game of the Year award.
It kind of
Like-
it holds over. It definitely hold over IGN.
No developers respect that award ever. It's a joke to them because it's all the game publishers that are giving the awards. The game developers actually care more about I forget their name. There's a couple of different awards later that are voted on by other developers, and they award each other awards essentially, and they respect those awards way more because it's developers looking at other developers' games and respecting what the work that they did to create those games.
Obedient followers and servants.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
The DICE Awards, that's
We
one
were
of them.
gathering data for the Empire, and then we were all suddenly possessed. It's strange that
Then
you
maybe
seem
a
to be
racing game
unaffected.
can
In
get its
fact,
day
it's
there.
strange to
I don't
find you
know,
here at
but
all. I thought the Imperials
to the
gave us
general
everything
masses, I don't
here.
think it will.
What
That's
exactly are you doing?
Jacob's personal opinion.
I'm doing a vital service to the Empire.
So the Imperials haven't given up on.
The
getting
racing
their
game do
precious
get Game of the
data,
Year.
After all,
I'll hope to be
This is
the
the
Hot
key.
Wheel.
You see, ever since
That
I
game
came to my
looks very
senses,
fun.
I've been worried that my followers will begin to doubt my leadership. I can't lose my power. I can't go back to being a slave. But maybe we can help
All,
each other.
I think all the cars they have on there is toys you can actually buy.
There's like a jillion Hot Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a box of them somewhere.
It's all I lost it.
You have my attention.
All I ask is that you find the symbols of Lord Venerus's power. They were looted from his tomb by the people possessed by Venerus's enemies. The symbols will help me reinforce my followers' belief in me. Lock them
You know
in their
what game
dreams.
I'm surprised didn't Game Award? No, that was Spider-Man came out.
Oh yeah, that came out 2018.
I'm thinking
That
about
was a good year
Miles.
for games.
Yeah, whereas
That was an awesome year for games. You had God of War, you had Red Dead Redemption 2, like
that was just all big games. That
Spider-Man came out that year. Was that the year Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn also came out too? Was that
Mhm.
year? Or was that the year before? Like, that's just like one of the biggest years for gaming.
It seems you've only left me the one option if I want that data.
Please.
I kind of want to
just
play
think
Zelda.
a while about my
It's because of that Sonic.
Be
See
careful.
how good that looks.
Venerus's old enemies will put up a good fight.
I never beat Zelda.
No.
The
Played it.
weapons breaking annoyed me.
That's what I think. That's why I think if I get into it, that would annoy me as well. What if I find a good weapon I want to keep?
I know. I feel like I can't use that weapon then, even though it's probably the best weapon that I have, because it's gonna break, and I need to save it for a tough fight.
If TTRPGs have ever taught me anything, it's don't save your resources because then you
Yeah,
never end up using them.
use it or lose it.
Because you'll just end up hoarding on to 1900 healing potions that you never used.
Right. And you could have made fights way easier for yourself.
Right. You'll either find more or get money for more or whatever it is, whatever the game is. Resources are meant to be spent. Oh, I was killing those two.
So have you guys seen those photos about that Matrix? That's with the Unreal
Yeah.
Engine.
I've even tried out the demo. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that game. It's not good, but the visuals, holy shit!
Yeah. That's what we have to look forward to with actual next gen gaming.
Yeah, that's scary.
I believe Hellblade 2 is also running on Unreal 5.
Nice.
So if you go back and watch that little like that trailer that we saw at the Game Awards, that was actually like gameplay. Like they just didn't have the HUD. Like there was that was gameplay. It was for sure in-game footage.
That's for Xbox, right?
And PC, yeah. Because if it's on Xbox, it's on PC. But in order to get obviously those insane graphics, you're probably gonna need some of the latest graphics cards and
Yeah, that's not happening.
whatnot. Just because you can't find a fancier card.
I'm broke.
Well, once Only Hope takes off here, hopefully Little Whole Wheat will also be taking off at the same time.
I need to pay a new graphics.
Or just donate to Little Whole Wheat directly.
Give me
Somebody
all money.
donate him like $2,000.
Or more. It don't have to be a certain number.
Or more.
No, let's not
Nice
just
little-
let's not just leave it
just
so
a nice
low.
little Christmas gift.
Hey, we still have a chance to win 3080 Ti's. So,
Yeah, I forgot your
you
idea.
know,
Yeah, we've entered into multiple contests.
right.
I hate it. I'd be like, I'm gonna try, but I know I'm not gonna win.
Oh yeah, I never expect to win any of them. Just
I look.
you can't win if you don't enter. So
Right. I mean, it'd be really nice to wake up Christmas Eve and they're like, by the way, you get four 3080 Ti's. Like, oh, sweet.
This is
Nvidia's doing a giveaway of a whole gaming PC with the
Yeah.
3080 in it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I entered that one.
I entered that one
the
too.
Matrix PC. Yeah, it looks cool.
I would
If I got it,
definitely
I'd probably take out the 3080, and then I could sell my 3070.
Mm-hmm.
Or just have two graphics cards, you know.
Or you could just run 2 computers. That
Yeah.
wouldn't hurt your.
Yeah.
That wouldn't hurt. Could game on one, stream to the other, and you'd be good. I also entered for it, Nathan. So
So we're
always a
for sure
chance.
gonna win.
right, yeah,
One of us
Two-
is.
2 out of a jillion chances.
Do y'all have multiple emails that so it can work?
So yeah, we'll just go create a bunch of fake Facebook accounts.
Did you notice that you're running around with snowflakes behind you?
I am.
I mean, I am.
I mean, I know
got-
they're doing their holiday event or whatever. So
Yeah,
somebody
I got
might have snowballed you or something.
I got snowflakes as I'm walking around. I have snowflakes for 50 seconds and a minute 25.
Nice.
Snowflake sticks and
I believe they have a
ground.
major sale starting on the 20th, I think it is. Like all collections I think are going to be 50% off or something like that.
Great. Spent a bunch of cartel money too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have enough stuff to spend money on
All better.
with
I
it
have
being
too much.
Christmas.
I have too much stuff to spend money on, including things I don't need for myself that I buy for myself, like more Pathfinder Second Edition stuff. They had a Humble Bundle, and I bought it because it had like 2 Adventure Pass in it that I didn't own already. And now I own from Paizo, and then I had to go own them on Fantasy Grounds, so that was a bunch of money.
Still
Yeah.
upset I didn't buy that Kindle bone. I was like, I don't need it, but I love Sam. I could've just did it. Even Sam was like, just do it. And I was like, eh.
Yeah, some of those Humble Bundles are awesome deals.
I'm straight to 8 o'clock. 'Cause,
You guys far away from the theater, or just gonna get there early?
I'm gonna get there a little early. But in the movies, it started at 10:50. But at the beginning of this week, we was watching old Spider-Man movie. Sam don't know about.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
And yeah, just the Andrew Garfield. Yesterday we finished the first Spider-Man. We're gonna plan on finishing the second one.
Nice.
I still like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
I told Sam, how did it feel to see how my childhood was so good with this movie? He was like, like my feelings. You hurting my feelings right now. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
that's-
the Tobey
I mean-
Maguire.
Compared to now the modern superhero movies, it's a different. It has a different feel to them.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, it wasn't Disney and Marvel making those movies anyway.
It was actually Marvel. Which
It was
That was
just
Sony.
Sony, yeah.
yeah, that is Sony. But I still want to. I
Technically-
want to know how it would have happened if Disney
Technically,
never bought Marvel.
Spider-Man is still Sony.
Yeah, it was solely Sony though, with no influence. They finally got a superhero movie right.
I still to this day want to know how MCU would have been. Like I feel like it would have been a little. Like
Not sure if it would
Ah.
be better. I don't think
Just-
it
I
would have
don't
been able
know.
to be this big.
Right.
that would have been big because superhero was already on a rise. Iron Man made not Iron, but Iron Man.
They are because of the Disney movies. Like if Disney didn't pick it up and like fund all this stuff, like it would not have been this big.
Right. I
True.
solely believe that for
Is-
sure.
When did Disney buy Marvel? It had to have been after the second
It was
Iron Man.
pretty much right after the first Iron Man. They didn't even. The second Iron Man was with Disney.
But still, that Iron Man movie,
Iron-
everybody
Iron
was so
Man-
excited about. Like,
Iron Man and the Hulk are the only two that technically came out that weren't Disney. That's the only two in the MCU.
I just feel like, I mean, it would have been still on the same level as this big if Disney never bought them.
I just have to disagree with budget.
Yep. Yeah, it would not be
the
this
mo-
big.
The story might have been close
You
to
wouldn't-
the same, but
You wouldn't have the same quality
budget,
actors
right?
because
budget
they wouldn't have
is
been
what
able to
it is.
afford it. Right.
True.
The money that these movies took to produce. Granted, they knew they were going to make it back, so they could spend it. But a studio the size that they were before making those movies, they couldn't take that type of risk.
Right.
Like again, story wise, probably close to the same, but
But we might not have come this far, and it would all just turn
Right.
into books or comics because they wouldn't be able to keep up with the funding to keep making these big blockbuster titles.
exactly.
And they might, and they'd probably be way further behind where they are now if they were able to even do the movies, because they would have been so much smaller that that it would still like be slowly going. We might have gotten the Avengers now, the first Avengers.
and not to mention the secrecy that goes into these movies, which is half the thing that makes
Right.
them so good, is because they have such a strong legal team of Disney that they can force people to be quiet and shut up about things.
and not have leaks, right?
I mean, just look. The second biggest competitor to in that realm was
Yeah,
like
is-
Fox and WB, and they sucked
Well-
at making hero movies.
Right, the Fantastic Four and stuff.
Right, like
Hey, I like that movie.
Which one?
Yes.
You liked all of
No.
those?
the
Yes.
last one was atrociously bad.
With Silver Surfer.
No, the
No.
remake.
Oh, the remake.
latest
Oh,
remake.
I didn't even watch that. Fuck that movie.
That movie is just straight garbage.
That's what we're saying. That's superhero movies. That's Marvel superhero movies without Disney, by the way.
Right.
No, it's Fox. That's Fox
No.
superhero.
That's what it turns into.
Right.
That's what you get. Because you don't have the cohesive vision of a single studio, essentially, behind the movies.
Like look look how good some, and I stress some, of the X-Men movies are. Just imagine if they had the budget and the cohesiveness of Disney. That's the
Right.
type of like amazing X-Men we could have had.
Fox fuck.
Well, yeah, Fox drew that. That's why Fox movie studio doesn't exist anymore. Disney was like, we will take that. Stop
Right.
screwing up our franchise.
We'll make it right. Don't worry.
Right. We might have to make people forget about them for years, but let's
Right.
let them come back.
I did like that first hit tactic. But
Sure.
that
Looking
was
back
also when
on
I was a
it,
child too, so it's nostalgic to me.
right? I was like, we were younger, so we had our expectation of movies were much less. And two, sure, at the time it wasn't a bad movie or a terrible movie. In comparison to actual hero movies now, it is atrocious.
Yeah. Definitely true. It was a movie for that era.
You see, like, why it's a bad movie is because I don't go and go, I want to watch Fantastic Four again. But
Right.
movies from that same time era, like Lord of the Rings, the original Lord of the Rings movies, I will still, if it's on TV, even if I'm just bored one night, I could sit down, turn it on, and watch
Put
it.
it
It
on.
doesn't matter that it's old. It's amazing.
Right.
My network of spies reports that you crushed my enemies underfoot and found the symbols of power
I
requested.
I am excited and also terrified for
Deal.
when they decide to
Expect
remake
to
the Lord of the
I
Rings
had not
movies.
forgotten.
Yeah, be
I,
very
too, have
terrified.
been very busy.
What about when they
Here
remake
is the data my
the original
servants
Star Wars
collected
trilogy?
Before the temple transformed. Let the Empire
Is that
make
confirmed?
what
Are they
will.
actually doing that?
It's inevitable. Like they're eventually gonna do it. Like
Right.
there's way too much money there not to do it eventually.
Enjoy your empire while it
I
lasts.
think
Actually, that reminds me. There's one last itty bitty.
I'm
little thing
scared.
you
Let's
can
just be
do
honest. I'm
to
scared.
see.
They're gonna
I'm
they're gonna
scared.
screw with Star Wars. I think there's
When you
there is
turn
so
the
much
data,
more of
you
Star Wars
encourage the
Galaxy
Imperials to send
to
more
explore.
expeditions my way.
that they never need to touch anything
Really,
again.
every
That's
bit of
how
conniving is
vast Star Wars could be for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I really want them to succeed outside of
I can
known.
assure you, my gratitude
canon.
to send more slaves to
Yeah.
be my
I
followers
want
will not
the
be
Old Republic
insubstantial.
shows and Old Republic movies that eventually come from it to
And High Republic
succeed.
and
Right, and
games
High Republic. I want them to succeed so hardcore that there is a new universe created inside the existing canon. Now, the capitalistic, pessimistic side of me knows that probably they're going to not do that, and they're going to go back to known nostalgia and try to recreate something that's already been created, because that's what people tend to spend their money on.
That's Disney.
Yep.
And they're gonna go back and redo those movies. Do I want them to? No. Do I see them going to? Yes. And am I scared? 1.5%. Now, I know I talked in a message before. Like, I didn't like the plot of 7, 8, and 9. Like, I thought it was pretty bad. The movies
Yeah.
were pretty, and it was Star Wars, so I will watch it. They're my least favorite Star Wars, but they're still Star Wars. So if you put it on, I'd probably watch it.
Well, nine's okay. I feel like it could be way better if it had the same director behind all three movies.
Oh,
So much better.
So
Like,
much better.
The problem was they were fighting directors essentially,
Right.
and like 9 was only pretty good because it went and fixed everything that 8 got wrong. Like,
Right. Like, even if I hated 8, let's just be honest. 8
Yeah.
really put a bad taste in my mouth.
I remember
Because-
we saw that one in theaters together.
Yeah,
And
we
we
did.
were like,
It was-
what? What are you doing?
Like-
and we get to the end, and we're like, what? That's so dumb.
Like, there's one thing you don't do to Luke Skywalker, and it is that you don't make him a pansy. You don't make him not this iconic character. By the way, just not having them all meet together, all of the big characters on screen together, was such a waste.
Yeah, like technically, even killing Solo in Episode 7 is like,
Right.
what? Why? You're supposed to have a reunion.
Right. So there was so many things they did wrong from a
Stop choking me.
this story could have been so much better. Like,
Yeah.
but
And,
They did a lot of
and
other
Episode
things that
9
were
was
really
honestly just Endgame. The Endgame story.
Right.
Like the end was totally just Endgame.
the end of 9 was
Like,
terrible.
D-
And
Disney was like, we know how to do this. This is our story this year.
Hey Marvel,
Like-
can we copy your work?
Yeah, just change it up a
we
bit.
just change it up a little bit, right?
Okay, it's Star Wars themed. Is that enough? Yep.
The meme that's going around lately too, which it was big back then, was, you know, there's a reason for like the One Ring. There's a reason for all these things to happen, and why all these like people came back. Like, you know, Sauron put all this power in the ring, and all this other stuff. And they said, oh, and Palpatine just surprisingly came back. For
Yeah.
some reason, Palpatine's back. Like,
I mean, it's cool that he was manipulating things in the background, but that was not the original intention from Episode 7. Like, you could, like, it was
Right.
definitely retconned in. Like,
9 was such a fan service piece that it didn't really follow a cohesive story that anybody was building. It was just,
right.
all right, here's
Well,
some
it
fan
was technically
flair.
building off of Episode 7, but it's like 8 didn't even exist. Like,
Right.
it
was-
makes 8 pointless.
Not to mention the worst scene in Star Wars cinematic history,
When
Where- when Leia was just like, you know
Load
what?
it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna do something that's never been explained.
Say, I'm out.
And they don't even explain that she had Jedi training until the next damn movie.
And then why isn't there like ships built specifically just to ram into other ships through hyperdrive space? Like,
Because that's the most effective use of any ship ever in the history of the saga. Like,
they tried to explain it that was a 1 in a million chance or whatever, but what? No.
right, 1 in a million chance? How?
Yeah.
You're ramming a ship at full speed into something else. I know, that's the, like, it's hard for me to take those movies seriously. Like if they should start remaking movies, they should just restart making 7, pick a director, and just be like, okay, we're sorry, like, we're just gonna restart at 7 and fix this. Like, none of those actors, like, you think about like Star Wars actors, and they're just kind of like mesmerized by the community for years after their roles. None of these people are.
Right.
Mess with us now.
Like,
None of them
maybe,
really became iconic because they were all kind of so bland.
like, maybe Poe Dameron. Maybe.
Not even. I think the only one that I was really thinking out was Kylo. That's the only one that kind of maybe.
And like really just think about like how good Rogue One was. You were like, okay, they can
Yeah.
handle Star Wars. Like,
Yeah.
you're like,
And-
oh, this is
even
gonna be
7
epic.
by itself is fine.
Yeah,
like,
7 by
it-
itself
it-
is fine.
Removing 8 and 9, 7 by itself, I believe, is a good foundation for extending the universe forwards. But
Besides,
That's when they brought
killing
in
Han
Leia,
Solo,
right? Not Leia.
and not having the reunion.
That's when they brought in a new Jedi, right? The new girl.
Yeah, that's
Rey?
when Rey was
Yeah, Rey.
introduced.
I haven't seen none of the yeah, I haven't seen none of the new ones. So I know some about it, but not all.
You haven't seen any of the new ones?
Ooh. I told you I wasn't a really big Star Wars fan until Mandalorian.
Oh yeah. Mandalorian's really good.
Yeah, Mandalorian's really good. The Book of Boba Fett looks absolutely amazing.
I know.
That's gonna be really good. I seen the prequels and I was also a kid.
Hello, stranger.
I really
My
like
commander tells me it has been exactly
the prequels.
963 years
besides
since Hoth
Episode
was
1.
made. Have the Sith truly lived in fear of me for so long?
I mean,
And
episode 1 has
actually-
a good fight in it.
Yeah,
Lightsaber
so-
battle.
Actually, so this is more accurate.
And who you
I
are.
really, really, really like Episode 3. I like the Darth Maul fight in Episode 1, and I like the very last 25 minutes of Episode 2. And 3 was just amazing to me.
To whomever was bold enough to find my tomb and unlock it.
Amazing how many prequel memes there are.
So many.
Tell it to someone who gives a damn.
You should.
It's
Your whole society
definitely
has been misled.
the most
The way of the
memed
Sith lies in channeling
trilogy
the Force through
of
these
Star
yeah.
Wars.
powerful emotions.
I mean, it gave us Ewan McGregor the gift of Ewan McGregor, so, like, that's good enough.
I
Because
love
Obi-Wan
taste of fear.
is gonna be fan nostalgia heaven when Kenobi comes out.
Yep.
Like, they already have, they're basically like, yeah, we're gonna fight again. Like, okay, I want to see that. I want. He's like, well, how can you tell the Kenobi story without continuing to sell Darth Vader's story? I'm like, exactly. I know 6 movies were about him, but I want more.
Right.
It's nothing like the Sith philosophy I've heard about.
Sith philosophy claims to break its followers' chains, but instead traps them in their own fear. What I learned only lives on through this image. and its
Episode 1
device.
tries to make
Yet I
gives
learned
Darth Vader the nickname Lil Annie,
and at peace.
the most
Take my teachings to the Sith. They
feared
will find power there,
Sith
but a different kind, not of
almost
darkness,
in existence.
but light.
It has a nickname of Lil Annie.
Obi-Wan, the negotiator, sent to stop a trade dispute, starts intergalactic war.
These heresies must be destroyed.
Then do so. Strike out against knowledge and see what comes of it. If you destroy these teachings, the light does not go out. Remember, fear is not the only way.
Also, the one thing that annoyed me a lot about Star Wars was their indecisiveness on what was and wasn't canon, and
Right.
the fact that they made stuff that was canon after the fact that the movies were released, and then didn't like mesh them together. Like when in Episode 3, Anakin meets Grievous for the first time on the big screen, but he's met him in Clone Wars, which is canon, many times. You're like,
Right.
they should know that they're not this height or whatever. Like, it's annoying as a fan that follows all of the canon material that like it isn't cohesive.
Right.
Like the fans know the story.
Also,
Like the fans know the story better than the people that create.
well,
Part
also
of that is Disney didn't own Star Wars from the very beginning. Similar,
Right.
well, like if they did, from the, I guess this is another example of why the MCU is so awesome and as big as it is today, and how everything makes sense and flows together. Like, because with Star Wars, Disney didn't acquire Star Wars from the very beginning. If they did, it potentially would have a more cohesive story
Storyline.
and universe. between all of its canon materials.
Also, George Lucas was amazing. I don't want anybody to think I don't like George Lucas, but he pansied out on making Jar Jar Binks a Sith Lord.
Sith, yeah.
Yeah,
I know about them
that's the would've-
theories. I think that would have been a good.
That should have been what came out in episode 9. Instead of-
Right, like
Palpatine-
Jar Jar Binks
Darth-
is sitting on the throne,
Darth
and he's just like,
Binks.
he's like, hee, little Annie.
Use a dino.
Use a fall for my trap. Misa play the long game. No, like
Palpatine was just his puppet.
so, like the idea that Jar Jar Binks would have been the Sith Lord isn't even crazy because
I know.
Yoda was literally a babbling idiot almost all of his first appearance until like the
Right.
very end, and they're like, by the way, I'm actually the Grand Master of the Jedi Order, and then he's like, oh shit, like that would have been perfect. But people hated Jar Jar Binks so much that he was like,
Right, you
Okay,
already hated
we-
him.
we can't make him a Sith Lord. No one's gonna take it serious. Count Dooku exists, I guess. By the way, we don't mention Dooku, who's pulling all the strings of the Trade Federation at all in the first movie, because he didn't exist, because it was supposed to be Jar Jar Binks. That's the continuity issues that piss off true Star Wars fans that know all the canon.
Right?
As I hate to say it, but I'm head out.
Yeah,
Alright,
it's 8
Gary.
o'clock already.
We was gonna watch the other time, but we already seen them in theaters recently. I don't want to see them. I kind of like Home. Far From Home is okay. It brought Mysterio. You just
Yeah.
never watched the last Andrew Garfield.
Have fun.
You
Remember,
guys have fun too.
no spoilers.
No
And-
spoilers.
No,
and
Jacob.
stay,
Jacob
stay
said.
all the way to the end. All the way.
All
Oh yeah, I know
all
it
the way.
it has two of them.
Yeah, there's a mid credits and an end credits. So stay for
Gotcha.
both.
How long is the movie? Like 2 hours? Nate
Re-
seen it.
well,
and a
let's see.
half
We got out there around 10:30. It didn't really start till 8:30. Yeah,
Jacob
about
watching
just
it
over 2
Sunday.
hours.
Sam says she'll spoil it.
Okay.
Sam,
You can spoil it for me.
I really like
I
you,
say
and I don't want to dislike you, Sam.
You gonna spoil it.
You can spoil it for me.
Sorry, Jacob. All right, you guys have a good stream.
Thanks.
Enjoy the
You
movie.
too.
I will. Bye,
He's gonna go
guys.
stream the movie.
Bye, chat.
Bye. Be sure
Bye.
to tune into twitch.tv/littleholewheat for the new Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
He's gonna be
Yeah.
streaming it.
I'm gonna stream it from the movie theater with my phone.
This just in, your tickets are canceled.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.